Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy Fantastic and welcome to my quarter-final preview of the 2025 World Championships. It's finally come down to this incredible weekend that we shall be hosting from France. A very exciting broadcast. Misspelled Tree as the host, myself and Andy Davo as the analysts, if you like. We've got the quarterfinals, the 8 players who've made it through. Very good players, and you can see there their races, their flags. We've got 3 French guys. We've got a couple of Dark Elves and a couple of Skaven, and it should be very exciting. They were going to be playing these games over the weekend. So on the Friday at 12:30 UTC, we have Andy Davo versus Lemarseillais. At 18:30 UTC, we have Olivier Dak versus Crystal Hunter. Those 2 games will be streamed live on Nacon's official Twitch channel. And Justicium versus Arzawain will take place at 20 UTC. And Nightw versus Purple Chest will take place at 14 UTC. So that's December the 5th, Friday. Then on the Saturday, we will have semi-final 1 at 12:30 UTC, semi-final 2 at 18:30 UTC, and then on the Sunday, the 7th, we'll start off with a 3rd place match at 12:30 UTC, and then the grand final will be 18:30 UTC. So there you go. That's the weekend, kind of in a nutshell. Now we can look at the various teams and matchups and see who everybody is and what they've got. So there we go. Let's go into Blood Bowl 3. In game, this is Justicium's team. He's facing Arzawain in the first quarterfinal. He's gone 3 guards for more bashy orientated. Often you'll see people take like a wrestle ghoul and give up 1 of these, and maybe even a block ghoul and give up a 2nd guard. But he's gone heavy on the guard. Tackle to deal with the agility teams a little bit, and a couple of block ghouls. 12 players. It's quite low TV, isn't it? This was a bit harsh. Normally they get 13 players, and that doesn't matter having 13 players. It was a bit of a harsh rule set for Undead, but having said that, Justicium's here. Morplovak did quite well, so you know the Undead teams that did turn up did do well. Now we've got the stats now from the game. So Justicium came through the play-ins, and that's why he's played so many games. He's won 9, lost 3. He lost to Goblins. He got absolutely smashed to pieces by Goblins in the play-ins. But, you know, Neely was out, right? And he's managed to come through despite adversity. Play-ins, he's French, and he qualified through Von de Gob League. And he's come through, won 9, lost 3. He's come through a fair few battles with this team. Super interesting. A very good player, great player, Justicium. Been around for a lot of years. His team name is back in 2016, and undead specialist somewhat. So but I think that matters a lot at this level. Like, you know, familiarity with the team. You know, like, well, we'll get onto other people. But some people are like really all about this team, and then some people aren't. And now, oh my god, okay. So Arzawain has not ordered his players correctly. Has he done this? I think he's done it a bit like a football team, by the looks of it. No, almost. Almost? Not really. Not really, because he's got a halfling in goal. If he'd had like the ogre in goal and stuff, it might have worked. But he's got 9 and 10 as the catches. That's what I was thinking. And 7 as the throw-in at Bex. But I think it's just completely random. It's quite a good human team. It's the same human team that Andre took, who Arzawain beat. He's got tackle mighty. He's got 3 guard blitzers. Guard and block on the catchers, guard on the ogre. He could have taken like double block, right? He could have taken block on the ogre and block on the thrower or the catcher, but instead he went double guard. I think they've both got merit. 14 players, 3 rerolls, quite a lot of TV. So I think this is the racial matchup actually favours the Undead. 3 wins and 3 draws, undefeated Arzawain thus far. I think the racial matchup favours Undead a little bit, but obviously not so much when they get so much more TV. The humans get a lot more TV here. Arzawain was a direct qualifier, that's why he's played less games. And also there's the tiebreakers as well, isn't there? So Arzawain has played 3. Oh, and one of them didn't count on the thing. Oh, just realised, because the minimum is 3 in the groups and then 2, so 7 is the minimum, right? So one of his games didn't count. I can't remember which one is not tracked on there. That's a shame, isn't it? Because there was a problem with the group stage, so the first games, some of them don't count on their stats. But Arzawain Spanish and qualified through the Summer Super League directly by finishing runner-up, because of course Diomed won every single one. So I don't know how much humans Arzawain plays, but I know Justicium's very, very comfortable with Undead. Great player, been in loads of high pressure situations before with Euroballs and stuff. So I am going to back Justicium to win that, but very narrowly. A very, very tough game for Justicium, but I have to back him. Right, now I've got Andy Davo with his Necromantic versus... No, it's not. It shouldn't I Necromantic with his All Alliance. What? Davo doesn't have Necro? Versus Lemarseillais with his Dark Elves. I remembered. So Davo's a direct qualifier and has played 8 games. Won 4, drawn 3, lost 1. So squeaked through, hasn't he, with this just better than average record kind of thing, but that's all you've got to do sometimes, isn't it, to squeak through. He's from the UK, qualified through Champions Cup Season 7 directly. And he's got I think this is probably the only All-World Alliance roster, really. I guess you could have more guard, but I think this is the way to do it, right? Block on your Ogre, and then you've still got 5 other guards, so, that means you can afford block on the Ogre. I don't think you need 7 guards, and so having a block Ogre makes it super reliable. More removals, really good. Tackle Mighty on the Blitzer, of course. He's always going to have that. That's really good. Block Catcher, Block Thrower, 13 players, 3 rerolls. It's 1430 TV. Like, it's so much TV. That's the thing about this team, right? They get so much. And, but Davo's not an All-World Alliance main, right? So... That matters. When it's a big difference between, like, he's still a great player, obviously, right? I'm not saying that these people have got loads of experience with one team or rubbish with other teams, but Davo on Necro is better than Davo on something else, right? Olivier Dak on Skaven is better than Olivier Dak on something else. Still a great player, but you're getting a bit more. You're getting a bit more out of your specialised race. So I think Justicium's getting a little bit more out of Undead by playing them more, and I think Davo isn't getting a little bit more out of All-World Alliance. But having said that, I still think he's a great player and he'll do very well. Up against Lemarseillais with Dark Elves. See, look, only 1270. He's like 160 TV down. He's like a wizard down, but not getting a wizard. So the package is making the big difference for All-World Lions aren't a great team, but the package is making lifting a lot of weight here. This is a strange team from Lemars. I'm not a great fan of it. 12 players, no Apo, 2 rerolls. The running makes it 3 rerolls, but it means he's got to not have blodge on 1 blitzer. He's got 3 dodge, and he's got a block and a wrestle. I've always historically liked the block and the wrestle, but I absolutely understand preferring 2 wrestlers. I think in this kind of form, I prefer block for the survivability and reliability. It's funny, right? Because Purple Chest, who we'll see later, he's a huge advocate for the double wrestle witch elves, which I think is completely correct, going higher rerolls and wrestle when you're trying to win every game in a tabletop event. But with this, you can draw in this format. Now, has Lemars drawn? Yeah, he's 4-2-2, so he's drawn a couple of games. You don't have the thing is, in tabletop, if you draw games, you can't win the tournament basically. But in this, there's overtime, and I think a bit more survivability comes in useful, and adds different paths to victory. I think is good. Lemars is French and qualified directly through the Champions Cup Season 7. Funnily enough, same as Davo, wasn't it? They both got in through the same one. Pretty cool. Right, so there you go. There is Lemars. I think my pick. I don't think. I know my pick is Davo to win this. I think it matches up quite well for the All-World Alliance with so many skills. I think the Dark Elves just generally don't have enough. Like they're not like Wood Elves where they've got some kind of crazy I win card, and they don't really have a decent 1-turn. So they don't have a realistic 1-turn. So the fact that an elf team without the most elfy things, I think that really disadvantages them, especially best of 3. Davo, right, with Bash Team can just get lucky and remove him one game. So he's probably just going to get an auto win one of them. So that's a big problem for the agility teams, just getting smashed to bits. And obviously Davo's really good, so he can turn that into an advantage. Whereas other people could outbash Lemars and still lose. I think if Davo does, he'll win. So I think Davo, again, not a huge favourite, right? No one's going to be a huge favourite at this stage, obviously. But I think Davo is an appreciable favourite over Lemars. So I'm definitely going to pick Davo for that one. Now, this one is an impossible one to pick. This is Olivier Dak versus Crystal Hunter. It's not impossible to pick. I'm picking Dak. But they're both Skaven. The thing is, Olivier Dak is not the world #1 on tabletop, but he has been for a long time. And, he's got that tabletop experience with Crystal Hunter doesn't. But Crystal Hunter's got a hell of a lot of online experience. So it's almost 6 and 2 threes because Crystal Hunter's got so much online experience. They do have a slightly different team. They've both got the same 13 players, an apothecary and 2 rerolls. They've both got the leader. They've both got a block gutter runner, a strip ball gutter runner, a mighty blow, a guard, and a juggernaut. And the difference is Olivier Dak has a sidestep gutter runner for the better one turn, and Crystal Hunter has a wrestle gutter runner for the better normal play. Though Olivier Dak still does use his sidestepper, to do things. So it's not a complete waste how it is for some people with their sidestep. So he does try and get some value out of the sidestep apart from just the one turn. But it does make his one turn basically undefendable, which is obviously pretty good. He's won 6, lost 1, so that's a pretty good record, isn't it? So far, and I can tell you he is French qualified through the Champions Cup season 6. What's funny about him is he's won 2 games 5-0 versus Bright in the group stage and Killtrain in the knockouts, and also the game he lost was after he'd already won his group. So pretty good tournament for Olivier so far. But also, pretty good one for Crystal Hunter. As you can see there, it's basically the same team. He's actually ordered them so that 12 and 13 are off the pitch by default. Very clever Crystal Hunter. And he has played 11, won 9, lost 2. So a scorching record. And from that you can work out he qualified through the play-ins via official ladder season 9. And he is from the Netherlands. So yeah, and the notable thing about his thing is, of course, he beat me in in one of the games, which I was very sad about. But very good player is Crystal Hunter, and absolutely can win Olivier versus Olivier Dak. If I could say it, he can win easily. Then I can say Olivier's name. So it's very 50-50, right? And anything can happen in these games. I am going to give it to Olivier on the balance of probabilities, but very, very razor's edge. I mean, I've got to pick somebody, right? It could easily be Crystal Hunter. I wouldn't call it a surprise at all if Crystal Hunter won. But, he doesn't... The thing is, Crystal Hunter doesn't like Resurrection as much and hasn't played it as much, and Olivier has, and that's really why he's getting the nod. That's it. That's the only real reason there. Now, finally, we have Nightw. That's Nachtwache, but he's German, right? That's Nacht. Act. 8 is Act. Nacht is night. So, I mean, the pronunciation's terrible, obviously, because I'm English and I can't speak German. So he just says, say Nightw. That's easier, isn't it? And then Nightw versus Purple Chest. Nightw is thankfully the only person with Amazons. This is what we were kind of all terrified about, right? Amazon's just dominating. They've got 3 rerolls, they've got an apothecary, they've got 13 players. He's basically taken the team that I'd take, I think. Block on both blitzers, block and a guard, block thrower, wrestle. Only 1230 TV, but it's such a good team. This is down 200 TV or something to Davo's team. I think 200 TV to Davo's team. Because I think the Line's got the most, and Amazon's got the least of the people who are left in. So he hasn't got a lot of skills to work with, but Amazons are just an amazing, amazing team. And he has won 4, drawn 3, lost none so far. Very, very nice. I mean, Amazons are very reliable, just a really good oppressive team. Nightwatch is German, I've said that, and qualified through Champions Cup Season 9. So there you go, and he's up against PC, Purple Chest, who has come through the play-ins and is English, of course. Most people should know Purple Chest, I think, from like the channel and stuff. And he qualified through DBL, and this is his team. This is the team that he always uses on tabletop for Dark Elves, for this kind of thing. 1270, 3 rerolls, Apothecary, 11 players. He's got leader, so he's got 4 rerolls total. He's got the 2 Wrestle Witch Elves, and he's got the 3 Dodge Blitzers. Like, it's really neat and tidy, isn't it? It's really neat and tidy. He spends, like, the TV is spent well, right? Like, that's the thing. That the problem with Lamar's team is he's got a blitzer that doesn't have dodge, you know, and like if you do something else, like, you know, if you have an assassin and maybe you don't have a blitzer with and stuff, so there's always something kind of a little bit wrong when you make a team. But with a Dark Elf team, you've never got quite enough to get everything you want. But in this, he's got a lot, hasn't he? It's very neat. It's a very neat team, and the thing is, with all the rerolls and the wrestle, it's really good. It can play both ways, right? It can play like a standard Dark Elf team, and it can be a bit more crazy like a Skaven team, you know, like Olivier Dak or Crystal Hunter. Let's have a look at his stats. He's won 7, drawn 2, lost 1, so very consistent. Great win rate thus far for Purple Chest, and I think he'll get it done. I think this is a tough matchup. Funnily enough, the game he lost was versus Amazons, Monitor with Amazons. It's a funny matchup, the Amazons versus Dark Elves. I actually don't hate it. I don't hate it for the Dark Elves, but I also don't hate it for the Amazons. So I think, you know, there'll be a bit of luck, of course, and a bit of skill, and I think I've got to give the nod to PC. Not by lots, but by enough that I'm happy predicting Purple Chest. Though of course anything can happen. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Arzawain, Lamars, Chunter, and PC all won. Wait a minute, have I just picked the home team for all of these? I haven't. No, Purple Chest, Nightwatch. Sorry, yeah. So if Nightwatch, Crystal Hunter, Lamars, and Arzawain, if all those won, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Like really, you know, these are really close in ability, really close in teams. Absolutely anything can happen. And so we're gonna watch it all happen from France. So there you go, and you can watch it with us. It should be a great weekend. Great games of Blood Bowl. I mean, this best of 3 format. I probably should have said that at the start. Every game is going to be the best of 3 format, Vituk style. So you play 2 games that can result in draws, and if somebody's ahead after 2 games, they've won, right? So, for example, let's say Justicium wins, then draws, then he's through. But let's say Davo wins the first game, Lamars wins the second, then they'll have to have a 3rd game. And the 3rd game will be with overtime and kicks if necessary. So I think this is a really cool format for Blood Bowl. I think because, you know, you can it's not perfect, you know, what is. But I think it's good that, you know, it gives you a second chance at least. Even if it's a hard second chance, right? If you lose the first game, the second game's really hard because your opponent only needs a draw. So it's really hard if you lose your first game. But also it gives you a second chance about, you know, without it being a much more complicated format. If you had, like, you know, double elimination, or, you know, if every game went to overtime, then that would probably favour the Bash teams more. At least, like, you know, a Skaven team could get smashed to bits but still get the draw and then win the next one, stuff like that. So I think it's a really nice format. Of course, something you could only do online. There's no way you could have 6-hour rounds on, well, 5-hour rounds. No, it's 6 hours, isn't it? Yeah, 12 till half 6. So yeah, 6-hour rounds on tabletop wouldn't really work, would it? But with here we can do it. So yeah, they're going to be interesting. I mean, I think, and then I could have done my whole favourite. Let's do the whole way down. So I've got Justicium winning the first quarterfinal, Davo winning the second, and I think honestly in that semi-final, I'm gonna pick Davo because I think they just get so much stuff, and Undead get less than normal, and All World Lines get loads more than normal. So I'm gonna go Davo on just, you know, the back of getting so much TV. I'm gonna back him to win that one. We've got Olivier Dak versus Crystal Hunter. Razor's edge, but I'm going to go with Olivier Dak. Then Nightwatch versus PC. I'm going to pick PC for the Dark Elves. And then, funny enough, I think Dark Elves match up quite well versus Skaven. Now, Olivier's got the sidestep for the 1 turn, but also Olivier could very easily lose to Crystal Hunter, who doesn't have the sidestep for the 1 turn. And I think in general play, like 15 turns of the game, I think Dark Elves are better than Skaven. Not by a lot, but I think by enough. But Skaven have got the 1 turn, and also Skaven have got 2 Mighty Blow, so there's the variables are in the Skaven's favour. But I think because this game is so hard to pick a winner as well between Olivier and Crystal Hunter, that also makes me more likely to go for PC to get through, right? Because it's not as sure who he's playing. So I'm going to pick Purple Chest to get through there. And then we'll have Andy Davo versus Purple Chest in the final. 2 Englishmen, 2 members of Team Fantastic that won the UK TC with myself and K-Fog. Funnily enough, neither K-Fog nor me made out of the groups. But that's the funny thing, isn't it? You know, like with the group stage, the Bash teams struggle a bit more to get out of the group stage, I think. You know, with draws and stuff and having to win. Whereas the agility teams, they can just turn it on and pull the games out of, you know, not so great dice. Whereas unfortunately for me and K-Fog, in these games, you know, it's never that far away, right? Like it's just not possible to play that much better than somebody who you're not that much better than. Do you know what I mean? Like normally if you have some bad dice versus, you know, somebody on the ladder, you can still win. If you have bad dice versus Dragoo, well then you're going to lose, right? He's going to get the timeout and he's going to beat you. That's just it, and that's what's going to happen here in the quarterfinals. It's going to be very tough if like let's say Arzawain gets better luck than Justicium in the first 2 games. Probably going to go through, you know, like unless they make huge mistakes, which people do, obviously. You know, nobody's infallible. I think everybody who's in the quarterfinals has made some huge mistakes, and you know, some people get a bit caught up in that and act like I'm negative. But for me, it's like it's a learning thing, isn't it? You know, you can say to people, look, this is a mistake. Try not to do this. And obviously, they know their mistakes that they're doing, right? You know, everyone knows they're not perfect. There's no need to try and act like they are. But overall, they still play great, right? And they're still beating most people. Most people are losing to the people here. So there you go. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And I shall see you there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay fantastic.